I always get the question, what's the difference, coach, between rotational and linear? Explain it to me. Well, the best I can do is tell you how I view it, and I'll leave the rest up to you. So let's get after it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, let's get into it. In order to talk about linear hitting versus rotational hitting, you've got to be able to break the two mechanics apart, or the two systems apart. And I use a line to help demonstrate this. I string the line, represents the path that the ball's on. And I'm going to start with a linear approach. Now, linear instruction, players are going to get set. This is all standard between both programs, both systems. But a linear approach to the ball is going to be an A to a B approach. A to B, the quickest distance between 2 points is a straight line. I hear that all the time. Matter of fact, I heard it last week from one of my parents who had his son out at the cage, and they were talking hitting with the coach, and that's exactly what came out of his mouth. Straight line to the ball. So a linear approach would be load, stride, heel drop, fire, and as you fire, you're going to go down to the ball in this manner right here. Okay. Head down, weights back to the ball, and then they finish. A rotational approach is going to be we load, we stride, we fire our hips, but instead of going down to the ball this way, a rotational approach is a leveling approach to where we want to get that barrel into that path and stay in that path as long as we can and keep that barrel in that hitting path. And so really, for me, the difference lies in the approach to the ball. The biggest drawback that I see with linear instruction, this downward approach, is twofold. One, the barrel stays out of the ball path. Okay? Your timing has to be perfect. Plus, when you lead with your hands, you throw your hands at the ball, that's going to straighten out your front arm. When you straighten out your front arm, your wrists are going to roll. So not only do we have a downward path on the ball, we now have a rolling of our barrel. So, looking at it in this direction, I'm going down at it, plus I'm rolling and snapping my wrist through the ball. Those two pieces cause chaos and havoc with hitters. Now what we teach with rotational mechanics is that at their heel drop, when they drive their weight into their front side, they shift and they fire their hips. When they fire, they're going to pull with their big muscles. And as they're pulling with their big muscles, they're leveling out. There's going to be a loop in the swing. Ted Williams said it himself. There is a loop in the swing. The lower the pitch, the greater the loop. Okay? We're not going from here to here. There's no loop there. A loop occurs when you let that bat head lay down into that path. If I can get that bat head down into that path, I've got all this room for air in hitting. If I meet it just right, the ball explodes off my bat. If my timing's off, say I'm early and I'm catching it out here, I still have enough barrel behind the ball that I'm going to be able to make really good contact with the ball, spray line drives, and have good contact numbers. With a linear approach, I just see it very simple. It's point A to B. You're here, go straight down to the ball. Okay? From here, down to the ball. Look how long it takes my barrel to get into that path of the ball. And then what happens after it? I'm out of it. So my contact point is relatively small. Matter of fact, it is very small. My timing has got to be perfect. Plus, when I hit the ball, what am I doing? I'm hitting down through the ball. I'm slicing the ball. If you look at the physics, if you were to distribute force into another object, it's going to be equal and opposite. You want to match forces, equal and opposite. That's why we teach directly behind the ball, push right up through the ball, take it where it came from. Coming down through the ball, I'm taking all my energy and I'm displacing it through part of the ball. That's not going to create more force. Equal and opposite. So we teach get directly behind the ball. If you are going down to the ball, you're not going to be able to get behind the ball. So those factors play a huge role between the two systems. Now, front angle on both of those swings are going to look like this. You're going to load, you're going to stride, you're going to go and initiate your swing. A linear stroke is going to go from here down to the ball, and it's going to finish. It's going to wrap. It's going to be a rolling of the wrists. You can see the path that the barrel's taken. Downward path to the ball, rolling of the wrist, high finish. What we are teaching here at Parker Training is we load, we stride, we get into our front side, we fire our hips. As we fire our hips, it's a push and pull energy. Leveling occurs, rotation to the ball, and then the release with the swing. One of the key principles that I talk about, regardless of whether coaches are teaching linear or rotational, is there has to be proper setup. There has to be a slight shifting of the weight forward before the explosion and the launch of the hips. Players and coaches primarily, that are teaching their players to stay back, stay back, stay back. When they fire, they're going to be restricting their energy source. Watch what great hitters do. You see a shifting of the weight. There's a subtle shift of the weight before they launch. At this point, they're deciding to swing. When they decide to swing, boom, they explode, just like somebody taking a punch, the uppercut. You're releasing your energy and you're driving your energy around your front side. If I was to do the same motion and I was to sit back, I'm displacing my energy. Try it yourself. You will feel it. You will feel the push and pull. If you get into it, shift from the back to the front before you launch, you're going to have all the energy from your body. Set in here, boom! Whole body's behind it. Do the same drill, sit back into it, you're going to feel the difference.